Welcome to the channel. Welcome to today's run through of all the latest Manchester United news and transfer updates, keeping you right up to date with everything. I'm Jamie. Before getting into it, smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Let's jump straight into it. So let's kick off. Let's kick off with the midfield news. Obviously, we know that is the area of concern for I think majority of you watching, going off of comments from previous videos. We know it's the main talking point all over the place at the moment, the midfield, and we do know that it is an area that we are going to look to strengthen in future transfer windows, be it January or be it in the summer. That is the next priority for United, is to fix the midfield. And the main name that we've been linked with in the summer and more recently is Carlos Baleba. Now whose form has absolutely been terrible so far at the start of this season. So there's been a bit of news regarding his situation. So this came from Fabrizio Romano. On his video, he said the summer links with Manchester United is probably having an impact on Carlos Baleba's performances because the player wanted to go to United. Now, he did say, and if you cast your minds back, we know we agreed personal terms and everything like that with the player. So he wanted to come to United. We just didn't even get to the point where we were sat around the table trying to end negotiations with Brighton because they wouldn't give us a price, and we're not going to keep blind bidding for somebody that they clearly didn't want to sell at that time. I wonder whether they're regretting that decision now, considering his drop-off in form, or, and I wonder whether we've dodged potentially a bullet as well with his drop-off in form. And then Romano also went to say that United will keep a close eye on Baleba's situation. He's appreciated by the management, the recruitment team, and he is very, very, very much appreciated by Ruben Amorim. So going off of that, it seems like United are still potentially wanting to go for Carlos Baleba going forward. I would have question marks around it now because of the mentality, and I get he is a young lad thrust into the limelight. It's not an easy situation, I'm sure, to deal with when you want to get a move to a big club and you get all the media attention and everyone's talking about you being £100 million plus player with up there with Moises Caicedo, and then you don't get that move. Difficult for a young lad to go through. But again, I would question that sort of mentality personally, because you come to United, you're under the microscope. Like Amad Diallo is currently getting, dog's abuse on social media at the moment. Like Amad, arguably one of our best players and definitely one of our best performing players last season. Okay, he's had a bit of a slow start to the season, but come on, he's under question. Like, some fans are literally abusing Amad at the moment. So let alone you buy somebody at a young age, if they don't perform straight away, then, this is the sort of place where the pressure, the media, the fans, everything like that can spit you up and chew you up and spit you out if you've got the wrong sort of mentality and the wrong sort of mindset. So I would hope to think they do a little bit more due diligence regarding that. Some of you might say maybe he's doing it deliberately as an up yours to force a January move through to United. Again, I wouldn't like that though, personally. The best situation would be for him just to perform on the pitch, and then we try and do a deal with Brighton. But is he, potentially trying to lower his asking price so he can force a January move through? Because if he carries on performing the way that he is, I'm sure Brighton will assess the situation differently in January. But then would we assess it differently in January as well, and potentially look at it and say, well, actually, he's so out of form, sometimes it's difficult to flick it on and off like a light switch. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. But I still think that at the moment, and obviously things can change. We're still a while away from January, and things can be totally different. The landscape could look totally different by then as well. But I still think Carlos Baleba is amongst definitely the one of the players that we're definitely interested in as well. And as Romano was saying, very, very much appreciated by Ruben Amorim, is appreciated by the management and everybody. And we've heard that before, that everybody at the club loves Carlos Baleba. But will they love him as much now based on his current form? Give us your thoughts and feelings on that in the comments below. And Brighton's manager said the same thing as well. He said, for sure, when a young boy reads there is interest from Manchester United with a big, big offer, it might affect him deep, deep down. And what he's effectively saying, that subconsciously maybe that move has had an impact on his form, in which case it's obviously a difficult situation for Brighton to deal with, and difficult for us as well, because then you're talking about spending big money on somebody that's so out of form Does it justify the asking price that Brighton might still ask? Will his price drop? Who knows? Obviously, a lot can happen between now and January. But yeah, give us your thoughts and feelings on Carlos Baleba in the comments below. Now let's go through the Kobbie Mainoo news. There's been an absolute load of waffle coming out regarding Kobbie Mainoo that I want to run through with you. So firstly, the headline was Real Madrid eyeing bombshell move to sign Man United star Kobbie Mainoo. Now, I read this in Gimme Sport, but what the report was saying that Manchester United have reportedly told Real Madrid they must pay a similar fee for Kobbie Mainoo to that which they spent on Cristiano Ronaldo. In the summer of 2009. Wait for it. Spanish outlet Fichajes.net reports that Man City, Bayern Munich, Newcastle United and Napoli are all eyeing the English midfielder Mainoo. He is growing frustrated with his lack of game time under Ruben Amorim, starting just one of 3 games across competitions this season. Now, if you're a subscriber and you've watched any previous videos or anything like that, you will know my feelings on Fichajes. I think they are one of the worst sources of information out there and consistently put out like waffle like this. I think the names we've already mentioned. We know where there was a report the other day about that Man City potentially were interested in Mainoo. Newcastle, there's been reports that they were interested in him. Napoli I think it was reported that tried to get him on loan at the end of the transfer window as well. Would clearly be interested in Bayern Munich. So it's not hard to think about that. But like I said, Fichajes are one of the worst sources of information out there as well. But no doubt there would be interest in Kobbie Mainoo. And it's a weird one, isn't it? It is a weird one because obviously he wants to play football. Amorim's obviously not picking him because he sees him as it's Bruno or Mainoo, rightly or wrongly. You'll have different thoughts on that, I'm sure, in the comments below. He wants to go to the World Cup, but then on the flip side, we know Amorim wants players here that only want to be here, and he has asked to leave, albeit on loan. I don't know. It's a messy situation, isn't it? And the hope is that he just gets his head down, trains well, performs well, does what Ruben Amorim wants from him, and then he can make his way into the first team. But there's a lot of football between now and January, so hopefully he can pick up a few more minutes and get a few more starts and bits from there as well. But yeah, now there's been another story coming from Spanish outlets where the headline was that Manchester United offers Mainoo and 50 million for a Real Madrid player. Now this came from a Spanish outlet, that the Real Madrid news outlet. I don't know the credibility. What they were saying in the report is that Manchester United want to strengthen their midfield, and they know that Real Madrid like Kobbie Mainoo. For this reason, they would be willing to offer the English midfielder and 50 million euros for Federico Valverde. Now, call me a little bit silly here, but I'm going to file that one in the BS bin. Like, I can't see, Real Madrid accepting that. Valverde, for me, is one of the best midfielders in the world. Absolutely outstanding player. I don't see why we would offer Mainoo and Valverde. Why would Real Madrid want to do that as well? I'm not entirely convinced, so I'm going to file that straight in the BS bin personally. And the other reason I'm going to file it straight in the BS bin personally is because it was also reported in The Sun. So when you hear stories from like Spanish news outlets and places like Fichajes, they do filter through to the mainstream media, which is one of the reasons why I like to debunk them on here. But it came out in The Sun saying that Manchester United are reportedly willing to include Kobbie Mainoo in a daring part exchange deal to land Real Madrid's Federico Valverde. The Red Devils are said to have offered £44 million plus the 20-year-old English midfielder in an ambitious bid to secure the Uruguayan star. It does say in the reports as well that Real Madrid are not even with the bullshit. Real Madrid wouldn't want to part with Valverde neither as well. But yeah, so I'm going to say let's wait for a little bit more credibility regarding this particular story, and I am not going to get anywhere near giddy or excited. Although I don't even know if I would want to do it personally as well. There's a question for you. It does create a talking point, I suppose, which is why places like Fichajes and stuff do it, because it creates debate and it creates talking points. So let me know in the comments, would you swap Kobbie Mainoo plus some cash for Valverde? Let me know in the comments whether you would do that deal or not. Now let's move on to some other news. So, Yeah, let's move on to Yildiz. So the headline is that Manchester United eye move to sign Serie A superstar for Ruben Amorim. Again, I saw it in Gimme Sports, but it's coming from Italian news outlets. I've seen it in a few other outlets as well. So they're saying that Juventus sensation Keenan Yildiz is on the radar of Manchester United, according to Italian publication Bayern Canary News. Reports have suggested that Man United are one of several clubs interested in acquiring the services of Kenan Yildiz. Just 20 years old, Yildiz has burst onto the scene since making his senior football debut for Juventus in 2023 and is regarded as one of the brightest young prospects in world football. He started the season very well as well. And if you remember, this is a name, though, that we have previously been linked with. There were some reports before we started, I think it was around January, February time, when Yildiz was seen as maybe one of the players we were going for the 10 positions. Obviously, we had a bit of a flip where we went for more proven players, i.e. Cunha and Mbumo. But I do think Yildiz maybe would have been one of the players had we not done that sort of flip to go for more proven players. I do think Yildiz would have been maybe one we would have gone for, because there were some solid reports linking him with us at that particular time. The report goes on to say that Juve reportedly have no intention of letting their star depart the club, which may be especially true for the January transfer window, where sourcing a replacement may prove a challenge. As has been shown in recent years. However, the allure of the Premier League, let alone that of Man United, can sometimes be too enticing. So reports from Italy and Italian media since the whole Sancho situation, in fact, since the whole Joshua Zirkzee situation, have been absolutely full of waffle, in my opinion. Like, I don't trust the credibility of any Italian news outlet, because they've been reporting since we pretty much signed Xerxes that he's going back to Italy. Then we had the whole Jadon Sancho shenanigans in the summer when they were reporting Juventus were close and, medical was being booked and all that stuff, till David Ornstein come out and completely, poured cold water over all of that nonsense. So I do have a little bit of skepticism around Italian news outlets. But again, it's a talking point because Yildiz is a fantastic young player, and I do think we miss somebody like that. Whether we can bring someone in from the youth team, talk to Shea Lacey, it's still maybe a bit early, but JJ Gabriel is absolutely smashing it in the under-18s as well so far this season. But I do think we miss that little bit of something magic to rotate around, or to bring off of the bench, to, if you're chasing a game, or if you want a goal, or just to throw fear into the opponents. I do think we're missing somebody like that. Someone like Yildiz would be class at doing that for the time being, until he can develop and grow and stuff. But I'd want to, again, going back to the same thing with the Mainoo news, I want to wait for a little bit more credibility before getting too giddy regarding Yildiz. But he is a fantastic talent, and he has been linked with us before as well. I don't believe that story personally, but I'm sure you'll have your thoughts and feelings on that, and I'm sure you're going to let me know in the comments what you think regarding it. So, well, let's move on to some exit news. So, Barcelona are reportedly lining up a permanent move for Marcus Rashford next summer, but could bring their plans forward to January if Manchester United are open to negotiating for a fee of around £20 million. That came from TBR Football, where they're suggesting that Barcelona may be wanting to, because they've got an option to buy, I think it's for around €30 million, so around 26 million pounds, but they might be prepared to buy him in January permanently. I don't know. I mean, I can see why he's had a in a bit of a rich vein of form, although he was benched for the game yesterday for being late. Leopards don't change their spots, do they? But came off, got an assist. It's obviously in good form for them at the moment. But there's been another story coming from the Mail, though, where they're suggesting that Marcus Rashford's hopes of a permanent transfer to Barcelona have been dented by La Liga's wage constraints. The Manchester United forward is currently on loan, but financial rules could impact any future long-term deals. So we've got one report suggesting that maybe Barcelona might try to push that deal forward to January. I don't know why they would do that, though, because they've got the loan deal secured until next year anyway. He wants to go, like he's wanted to go there and probably wants to stay there as well. They're paying all of his wages anyway, so it doesn't really make financial sense for me for them to go and buy him permanently in January, especially with Barcelona with their financial mess. But with their financial mess, the Mail have made a good point to say, well, actually, because of all the financial constraints and the fact they're having to sell their kidneys and stuff, Barcelona to pull all their levers just to finance the current squad that they've got, that might be a problem for them next summer. But we'll have to just wait and see. Hopefully he can just carry on his good form, and they do sign him permanently as well, because I think that would be the best solution all around. But yeah, we'll need to keep an eye on what happens regarding Rashford's situation. And then Fabrizio Romano's had the following to say on Andre Onana. So Andre Onana and United see their chapter as almost closed. It will be difficult to see them continue after his loan. Andre Onana was quite disappointed with the situation this summer because United believes Saint-Lemons will be the goalkeeper for the present and future. Unless something extraordinary happens, it's over between Onana and United. So effectively saying that, yeah, Onana's now come to terms with the fact he's not going to be coming back to United. United don't want him back, I don't think, going off of what Romano's saying there as well. And he'll be hopefully sold or move on next summer as well. But it's not exactly a surprise that the way that it's ended, and the fact that, you know, it's been a weird situation though, hasn't it? The goalkeeper one, because we had so many conflicting stories about Onana is the number one and Amorim wants him, and then, you know, then we don't, and we're looking at other keepers, and then we signed another keeper, and now he's on loan. It's just been a bit weird, but good luck to him. I don't have any issues with that. We've moved on. He needs to move on as well. He just didn't quite cut it. Did you see the assist he got as well? Like, where was that Onana? That was the Onana that we thought we were signing at the time. You know, coming out of his box and playing a lovely through ball through the middle of the park, like, and he's come to United and literally looked like he's been wearing the boots on the wrong foot with his distribution and stuff. Like, it's so odd, isn't it, how some players can literally just fold like cheap origami at United. Even though, like, even from the first minute though, like this happened from Onana pretty much for the first few games as well. Like, it's insane, isn't it? The pressure and the eyes and the attention and stuff like that, what it can do to people. And you take them out of that environment, and we've seen countless times where players then will go on and thrive and perform a little bit better as well. It's not for everybody. Like, there must be, you know, because it's Onana's probably going to be another one, proof in the pudding. But yeah, give us your thoughts on that in the comments below. And then the final story I've got for you is regarding Sir Jim Ratcliffe. So, brought you news the other day that obviously Sir Jim flew his helicopter in for the emergency meetings and all of that waffle that was going on. He wasn't. He was just there to it was a scheduled meeting anyway. But Fabrizio Romano has said that Sir Jim Ratcliffe is never going to influence Amorim on the tactical point of view or on the philosophy. He just wants to understand. He wants to be present because he wants to understand. So Sir Jim Ratcliffe's going to be hanging around Carrington by all accounts this week, according to Fabrizio Romano. But interestingly, he said he is not influencing the tactical points of view or the philosophy. Amorim said that again in his press conference before the Chelsea game, saying nope, not even the Pope could get him to change his style of play as well. He said he wants to help and make sure everything is going in the best way possible for the club. So this is the reason of the presence of Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Sir Jim Ratcliffe will be absolutely super present again this week, absolutely monitoring everything, and he wants to make sure everything is going in the right direction. And I don't have an issue with that. In fact, what a relief it is to actually have an owner of or a part owner of the club that actually gives a fuck about what's going on at the club as well. Because have the Glazers even seen the new Carrington, like, since it's been renovated? Have they actually been bothered to fly over and have a look at what's been going on at the club as well? Like, I've not seen one report that suggested that the Glazer family, and that shows everything you need to know about them, that we've upgraded the facility and they're still just sat in America doing whatever, twiddling their thumbs, collecting while we're in debt to them as well. Absolutely scandalous. But the fact that Sir Jim is actually wanting to get involved and wanting to understand as well, I think is a positive, because if you're owner, like shit rolls downhill, right? So from the top to the bottom, if you've got owners that only care about money, I think that just filters down through. And I think we've seen that in the past where players have come to United because of the contract and the wages, and it's the wrong environment. We know all of that stuff, right? But actually having somebody like Sir Jim and Ineos that actually want performances on the pitch as the priority, I think will eventually have an impact on the playing squad and the mentality, and that's the thing that we are trying to change as well. So I don't have an issue with Sir Jim knocking around the place. I wouldn't want him to get involved and be like too hands-on, like picking the team and shit like that, but I don't think he's doing that anyway. He's actually there, I think, to offer a little bit of support, to understand if things are working and fix any problems that aren't working, because he wants us to win ultimately. That's what I think anyway regarding the situation. But for me, it's a breath of fresh air for actually to have, somebody that's part owner of the club giving a shit about what's going on at the club as well. Like I said, the Glazers have done absolutely nothing, apart from when there's a cup final, they'll fly over and get booed and then piss off for however long it is until we reach another final. So yeah, I've no issues with Sir Jim getting involved like that as well and wanting to understand what's going on and see if we can fix any issues. No issues with that whatsoever. Fabrizio Romano also said, though, after defeating Chelsea, Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Manchester United are eager for sustained consistency, and that's the important thing. That's what we need as a football club and as a team. Consistently, we're the only thing we're consistent at is being inconsistent, and it's absolutely annoying me. Even in games, we can have a good first half and a bad second half, and there are two teams on the pitch as well, and sometimes teams will change their tactics and stuff like that as well. But it do need some consistency in selection, consistency in performances, consistency in results as well. And that's what I think he's there to observe, see what's going on, and understand if there's things that we can do, that he can do as the co-owner to improve and get an understanding of what's going on around the place as well, which I don't have an issue with. But give us your thoughts and feelings on that in the comments below. Give us your thoughts on all the other topics discussed in today's video. That's you all up to date with the latest news and transfer updates. Don't forget to smash a like on the video on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. See you in the next one.